Hey guys, it's Stacia. Welcome back to my channel, Reader C. So I know it's been a while. I just didn't really feel comfortable posting anything. Even on my Bookstagram, I haven't really been on that. With everything going on, it really overwhelmed me. So I took a step back. But now I'm hoping to get back into everything. This is kind of like my comfort zone, to just be able to get my mind off some things, read some books, share some videos, do some pictures. So yeah, today is a very late May wrap up and June TBR. I'm just mushing them together because it's just easier than doing two videos at this point, since it's already like a couple weeks into June. But yeah, so I ended up reading 9 books in May. Thanks to audiobooks, it really helped me. I didn't get to my entire TBR, unfortunately, but all is well. We figured it out. So the first book I read was We Were Liars by Lockhart. This was a reread for me. This was a friend's pick in my last video. But yeah, so I mean, it's a really small book, really quick read. Loved it still. I actually did partial audiobook on this one this time, because last time I just read it and I wanted to see like if it was a different experience or anything like that. I do prefer to read it like myself with my eyes versus audiobook, but it was still really good. The second book I read was Water for Elephants. This is actually a pretty popular book. I'm not sure if they require it in schools or why it's really popular, but it's an older book. I read this for my real life book club. It was all right for me. I did like the story and the characters, but some of the events kind of didn't grip me as much. So I did rate this a 3.5, but I do still think it's worth the read. The circus theme is pretty well in this book. It's not really like overpowering, but it still revolves around the circus. It's also sort of dual perspective. It's the same person, but in 2 different timelines. So it's pretty interesting. The next book I read was Final Girls, and this was my first book by this author. It was okay. I could not call the end at all. I did not expect what happened at the end, but sort of like the events leading up to it, some of it kind of dragged, some of it I felt wasn't really necessary, but overall it was a good book. I gave it a 3.5/4. I am really excited for his other books. I think this may be one of his like older ones, so I'm pretty sure like his newer ones are even better. So I recommend this one if you like thrillers. This is kind of more like a beginner thriller to me, if that makes sense. Like if you're newer to thrillers, I recommend this. Next, I read P.S. I Love You and Always and Forever, Laura Jean. Originally, only P.S. I Still Love You was on my TBR, but I actually really love this one. So I wanted to finish the series right away. I heard that they're still making a movie for this one. I did like the movie for this one. And if you watched whichever video it's in, I don't know, I think it's a vlog, but if you watched that video, I didn't really care for To All the Boys I Loved Before, which is the first book in this trilogy, and I said that I had preferred the movie over the book. And for this one, for P.S. I Still Love You, I actually preferred the book over the movie. I really wish that the movie included John Ambrose more, because he deserves so much. But yeah, so I read these 2. Both of them were 4 stars each. Always and Forever, Laura Jean. It really tied everything up together really nicely. So I appreciated the like nice wrap up of the trilogy. Then I read The Selection, The Elite, and The One. I did not read The Heir and the Crown because I don't care for that storyline as much as I do for this one, because they follow different characters. But yes, again, love this series. I didn't know how I would feel about it this time around since I read it a while ago, but I still really loved it. The One is my favorite book, but they're all really good. There really isn't much to say. I read these for it was kind of like a buddy read with Kira and the Mini-a-thon people, so we shared our thoughts on that. We did it to celebrate the announcement of the movie that came out a couple months ago. I am still super excited for that. I haven't really seen any updates on that yet, but hopefully it's still coming along and going smoothly. The last book I read, I do not own, but I read it on my phone, and that was Yes, No, Maybe So. I read that for a book club that I was in, and that one I was fairly surprised. I enjoyed it a lot. They do have a politics topic or like storyline type of thing, but it isn't like, it didn't push me away. And that is what I was scared of going into this book. The representation is great. The romance, like, it's just, it was really good. So if you have not read it, I recommend you read it. So yes, that is all of the books I read in May, and now we're gonna go to my June TBR. All right, so for my June TBR, I'm going to be doing a sort of bingo thing with the mini-a-thon since everything's starting to open back up and everything. Instead of doing the mini-a-thon every weekend and having like one prompt, Kira was kind enough to create a book bingo for the month, and it's more of like, I guess, a book club sort of thing now. Book club, mini-a-thon, or readathon, book club, readathon, I don't know. But still really fun. We still have our Discord. I will link the mini-a-thon Instagram down below. It has tons of information if you're interested. So a lot of my TBR is based on trying to get a bingo and book clubs. So first, I will go over all of my book club picks, and then we'll get into everything else. Okay, so for one of my book clubs, The Bookish Beans, which is what I read Yes, No, Maybe So for, that book is Of Curses and Kisses. I have not purchased it. I don't think I will, just because I need to cut back with quarantine. I spent a lot on books, so I have the ebook for it. So that'll probably do for now. But yeah, I have no idea what it's about. I am going in blind whenever I go in because I haven't started it yet. Yeah, I have not read a book in June yet, but I'm trying. So we'll figure that out. But yeah, so that's the first book, and that is also going to be crossing off the square in my bingo for author of color. My next is Literary Thrilling, and they chose The Hiding Place, which is really small. I didn't expect for it to be like so short, but I am super excited for this one. I've heard a lot of good things about this author, and their discussions are always super fun. So I'll link them down below if you're interested. And this will also be in my bingo for the square of standalone. Next, my real life book club chose The Hate You Give. I read this 2 years ago. It's really relevant right now, so I definitely will be doing a reread of this. This was a super quick read for me the first time around, so I'm sure that it'll be super quick this time. This has a lot to do with the Black Lives Matters movement and the protests. So if you have not read this one, I highly recommend you checking it out. And this will also be on my book bingo for Reread a Favorite. So a part of the mini-a-thon bingo, we also have 2 buddy reads. So the first one I'll be reading is Scythe. This one has been on my TBR forever, and I'm really hoping I do get to it this month. I kind of am in the middle of a reading slump. Like, I have not been reading a lot at all, but I'm hoping this month will be different. And this will cross off the square of red cover on my bingo. The second book I do not own, and that is Opposite of Always. That, I have no idea what it's about, but one of the people in the mini-a-thon already finished it, and she said she highly recommends it and she loved it. So I am excited for it, and it will cross off the square of person on the cover. There are people on the cover. And then there is Fiction Fanatics, and they chose Crescent City, A House of Earth and Blood. A House of Blood and Earth. Something like that. I haven't read anything by Sarah J. Maas, so I'm really not sure if I'm going to be participating this month. It's a really long book, and I already have a few bigger books on my TBR, but That is another book club I'm in, which I'll link down below, of course, but who knows if I'll participate. If I do read Crescent City, it will cross off the square of Bookstagram made me do it, just because when it came out, it was everywhere. All right, so on top of those are all my books, or all my book club picks. Now here are some books I chose for myself, just to help myself with the bingo. Another square is the newest book on your shelf, and that will be Mooncakes. This is a graphic novel, so I might actually start reading this soon. Graphic novels usually help me out of my slump. I actually had bought this because I had planned on participating in a readathon this month, but that readathon fell through for personal reasons with the host. So I will be reading this for the newest book on my shelf. I have no idea what it's about, but hey, we'll figure it out. I am excited. Love graphic novels. So next, there is female author, and I'm going to hopefully be reading It Ends With Us. Elle from Elle Reads and Chapter L has recommended this to me so much. I bought it and intended on reading it last month, but just didn't get around to it. So hopefully this month will be the month, because she said I'll fly through it and I'll love it and I'll cry, which I doubt because I have not bought a book to make me cry yet. But yeah. And the next two squares I want to cross off is Books Set in the Future and a sci-fi novel. And if you did not figure it out yet, I'm going to be trying to read Aurora Rising and Aurora Burning. First of all, look at those edges. Shout out to Bookish Signs, because that's where I got these. Definitely check out her shop. She's amazing. Amazing. But yeah, so I'm going to be trying to read these. Not really sure what they're about, but I really love this duo, which is Amy Kaufman and Jake Kristoff. They are just amazing. I love the Illuminae files. So hopefully this will be read. I'm on the wait list for both the audiobooks, so hopefully I get off of those soon, because their novels are just perfect with the audiobooks, because it's full cast and everything. So those are all the books that I have planned for this month. I am hopeful, but I'm not sure. I definitely am going to prioritize my book club picks. I still have 6 squares on my mini-a-thon bingo board that will not be filled out even if I read all of these books, but it's okay. We'll figure it out. If I don't finish it and if I don't get a bingo, all is well. It's okay. But yeah, so this is the plan. If you guys are reading, what are you reading? If you're not reading, oh wow, seems like everyone's in a slump right now. But I hope you guys are doing well. But yeah, so that's all I have for today. Hopefully at the end of the month, I will have a successful reading month and actually read most of these. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.